Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of Board Game Buys. This is where I talk about all of the games that I have acquired over the last couple of months in this example, because I didn't do one of these videos in July, so this video is going to cover July and August. Now before I get started on these games, and I have more than usual to talk about because of that 2-month gap, I want to give a shout out to the show's sponsor, KIENDA.co.uk, who are my go-to online retailer, and if you use the link in the show notes or the QR code, then you can get 5% off your first order. Let's start with something a bit more obscure, because this is an upcoming Kickstarter project that's been kindly sent to me just for an initial review. This is Dungeons of the Oak Dell. Now this is a kind of a draft and write style game, as you are going to be traversing through this dungeon, fighting monsters as you go, increasing your stats on your little character sheet, and it has this dice drafting system that's pretty cool. I have played this game already, that uses this 2-colored dice system where you have white dice and black dice. Now the white dice are generally not as strong, but they're safer in different ways. So for example, the dice will show you how far you can move across your little dungeon sheet here. In fact, I'll show you. As well as which part of the monsters you can attack, because this game has one of the most interesting combat systems that I think I've ever seen. So this one, this is what the sheets look like. You're going to start in here, sorry, this way around, kind of collecting potions so that you break rules, and restocking your health through these little fountains, getting treasure to increase your stats on your character sheet, fighting these very strange looking monsters. But the combat system, as I said, is very unique, at least, because when you are picking these dice, it's going to show you which colour you can attack. And what you're going to do is you're going to be drawing a line from that particular colour to another one of these colours. And the way you attack the monsters is that if you cross over lines that are actually covering the monster themselves, you'll basically do a wound, so you will inflict damage. So you have to kind of feel out what's going to go on here, but you're also incentivized to do other things by getting like additional keys to unlock those chests, and increase your stats and so on. So different scenarios here, lots of different monsters, and I have to show you one of the coolest components of the year for sure. That is these pens and shields. So you've got these very cool shields that are your rulers, and just look at these pens. They look like little swords. They are super cool, and I definitely want these. These are great. They look fantastic. So I'll probably do a little preview video or a very short review of this game. It lends itself very well to a solo mode. I don't play a lot of solo games, but this is something I could definitely sit down and play. That is Dungeons of the Oak Dell, and I'll make a little note below saying when that Kickstarter campaign is going to start. Some games I've already covered on the channel that I didn't put on one of these videos. Katarenga, a game that I've thoroughly enjoyed. A little 2-player abstract game. A bit like chess, but the place where your piece is stood determines the move it can make. A fascinating little game, and I love it a lot. Let's move on to another upcoming game, actually. This is one that I've not really looked into in terms of rules, but when I was reached out by this company, and I saw the designer, Dan Cesar, he is the designer of Arboretum, which is one of the best card games probably ever made. A very nasty game, but it's brilliantly designed. So I know for a fact this guy has some great design pedigree. I've not looked into the rules, but I was certainly more than willing to take a review copy of Mischief. Anything with designers that I know can do the job, I'll happily take and look at on the channel. So hopefully I'll get a chance to play this one later today. That is Mischief. Love a small little card game. A game I've recently talked about on the channel is Gang of Dice, a little dice rolling Knizia game, trying to roll dice and hopefully not roll certain combinations. The more dice you use, it means the bigger risk you're going to take, but the more dice you use, you're more likely to break ties and win. So it's definitely a push your luck, kind of a pure dice roller really, lots of luck involved. But I do like this winning mechanism of if you win the round, you win everybody else's dice, which is cool. So that is a Gang of Dice. It did feature on a ranking video, and it didn't do as good as I thought it would. But still, I'll probably give it some more plays just to solidify my thoughts. A couple of games here that I've not played or even know about because these were acquired by my brother. We have Ore. To my understanding, and I don't know what the mechanisms are like at all really, I think there might be worker placement involved. I think this is an introductory style worker placement game. Again, I've not played it. I like the theme, at least, or the idea of the theme. Hopefully it's got at least some kind of USP or a hook to make it interesting. I have my doubts because when you don't hear people talk about certain games anymore, it normally means that they're not great, or there's not really a good incentive to play them anymore because they've been replaced by other things. But I'll go in with an open mind. I'm not sure if I'm going to like it, but that is Ore. Another game I don't really know anything about because, again, it was picked up by my brother, is Fresco, but this is the card and the dice game. So actually one of my blind spots in gaming is that I've never played the original Fresco. I am colourblind, so it's not going to be a great kind of idea of a game because it's very colour driven. So that might put myself at a bit of a handicap. But you know, sometimes these dice or card versions of games can get across the feel of the game, but in a faster and more succinct way. So, this one says 30 minutes for the, I think this must be the dice game. Yeah, the dice game. And the card game says 45 minutes. So again, I'm not sure how similar to the original they are. It's always a game I've wanted to play, but I've always been hesitant because it's so colour driven. But still, who knows? Sometimes these little games are good. Again, I have my apprehension because I think the original Fresco is still quite highly regarded, but these ones, to be honest, I didn't even know existed. So that is Fresco, the card and the dice game. On to another upcoming crowdfunding project. I think this one's going on GameFound. This is Cosmic Conquest. So this one, the design team reached out to me and said, asked me if I'd cover it on my channel. I said I would. At least if you're familiar with my content, I would take a look at it. Considering the theme and the idea of the game, I thought maybe it's not going to be more Eurocentric or mechanisms focused. But they sent it anyway. I did play this one, and it's safe to say it's not for me. I'm not going to flip the box over, but maybe I'll show you a picture on screen. It's a kind of a pure dice chucker, really, roll and resolve style game. You have these special characters. You're going around these planets, fighting each other, trying to achieve these objectives that are assigned to these planets and score points as you go. So it has this kind of beer and pretzel feel to it, very relaxed. And it's a little bit too, Ameritrashy mechanisms-wise for me. Not really much autonomy over your own decisions and stuff. So, yeah, just not my style of game, but certainly well put together. I have a very advanced prototype here, I think. Artwork looks fantastic, definitely inspired by other IPs, but the actual tiles themselves, these planet tiles, look incredible on the table. A few nitpicks, a few little rules ambiguities, but again, this is an early version of the game, so I'm sure it'll do well because I know these kind of games have a big audience, and I'm sure a lot of people will enjoy it, but just not one for me. And let's go on. In fact, before I go on to the next bunch, because they all link together, I'll talk about some other games that haven't arrived yet, but I have ordered them. Number one being Windmill Valley. So a kind of a medium lightweight Euro that's getting a bit of buzz at the moment. I didn't pick this one up at the UK Games Expo, but since time's passed, it seems to have been going quite well in terms of the way it's been received. So I got a copy from KIENDA coming. So actually looking forward to trying that one because I have been playing more Euros again recently, as you've probably seen from my most recent Hitting the Table video. So yeah, really getting back into my Euros. So hopefully this one's good. I generally like the stuff Board and Dice put out. Yeah, hit and miss, but probably more hit than miss. So hopefully that one's going to be good. I also picked up a copy of Lacuna. Now this is an interesting looking game. I am enjoying my abstract strategy games at the moment. This one certainly looks a little bit funky as you are placing these, or kind of scattering these little tokens all over the board state, and you're placing your kind of markers between certain types, getting those tokens. But then I believe at the end of the game, every token closer to your markers becomes yours, and you're scoring kind of set collection points. So really intrigued by that one. I'm a bit annoyed the box looks annoying because it's in this kind of cylinder, so it's not going to be too great for the shelf, but maybe I can sort something out. So that's 2 I'm looking forward to trying. I'm not even here yet. And the next bunch are games that you're probably going to hear me talk a lot about over the next few months. This is the GIPF series. So I've got all of the GIPF series games. Yinch, moving on to GIPF. That looks like this. We have Zerts that looks like this. Going on to Punkt. And I have covered some of these on the channel already, actually, in review format. But I will be doing a comprehensive comparison video of them and talking through them in my kind of priority order in how much I like them. Link is another one, which I think is the newest one, actually. This is number 7. We have Tsar, a very popular and well-received one. Was at the top of my most recent ranking video, and also Devon, which was the one I picked up first. I got this one before all the other ones. So I'm going to be doing, again, a full video covering the GIPF series and talking through them in my priority order and how much I like them. So that's it, really. That's all of the games that I have picked up. I didn't count them, but I'll put them on the thumbnail, how many games I've acquired here. Lots of different types here, again, upcoming games, older games, Kickstarter projects, abstract strategy games, and so on. So yeah, definitely diversifying in what I cover on the channel here. Hopefully you are looking forward to me covering these games, and if you have enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit like and subscribe to the channel and check out my other videos too. But for everybody else, I'll see you next time on Chairman of the Board. Bye-bye.